Good morning. Welcome to our topic today, which is talking about some lessons learned in ERP implementations. My name is Russ McClendon, and I am a managing director at Altruis. And then I would also like to introduce Jeff Atkins. We're both going to share some stories that we've learned maybe from different perspectives, but I think this will be helpful for anybody considering an ERP implementation.
Absolutely, thanks. Joined Altruis right at about a year ago, and believe that my experience as the controller, as the CFO, really from the other side of the table helps provide a unique experience and a unique opportunity that lets our customers know that I really understand where they're coming from, what their needs are, and certainly can help guide them through this process from their position. So certainly I think, as individuals are preparing for this process, some of the things to consider and be mindful of: working with your team, kind of building out that full wish list, making sure you understand what each team member is really kind of needs, how they can help set up for, what can you identify for your improvements that you can relay back to your consultant to say, here's where the areas that a lot of organizations are utilizing multiple systems for tracking various data points, that a lot of times there does become that you're keying data into one side and then having to essentially completely replicate it. So trying to work with your entire team to identify some of those opportunities really where your consultants can help. At the same time, really trying to understand what makes your business and what makes your organization unique. Certainly, even within other organizations within your same industry, you are almost certainly doing something that your competitors and other individuals in that space are not doing, or that you're capturing data in a unique way that is going to be imperative that it stays that way going into your new system. And your consultants, even if they've worked with other partners in your industry, may not know that. So, that you really help to try and think about what is it that that you're currently doing that has to continue. At the same time, the implementation itself, trying to honestly assess who's going to be responsible for this. Is it going to be your finance team? Is it going to be your IT department? And then what are their bandwidths and capabilities? You may have some individuals that have done a lot of implementations, but are simply swamped doing other projects, or simply doing the day-to-day tasks that are not going to have time to really dedicate to the actual implementation, to going through some of the data conversion, and then lastly, being a little bit honest about your data itself. What is the quality of your data? Is it a lot of tracked? Is it really where you want it to be? Are you current with all of your schedules and reconciliations, or are you way behind? Is your data just widely disparate as far as across the different organizations and what you're wanting to try and sync? And then kind of bring all that together, bring your long checklist, your kind of your breakdown of what you want to achieve, who you believe will be leading this and is capable of doing it, and then just kind of bringing that to your consultant. Again, your consultant may have worked with another organization in your industry, but your organization is unique. So you're going to have to kind of make sure that you're able to describe and to your consultant. So I think those are certainly some of the keys. Certainly went through them fairly quickly, but that's kind of taking your time and going through everything and creating your checklist of what do you have and what do you hope to achieve, I think are kind of really the key elements.
Right. Yeah, those are all good points. And, I think I've experienced a lot of what you talked about with the various clients over the years, that, it does take a lot of thought. It doesn't just start when the consultant shows up. There has to be a lot of pre-planning and thought that goes into the process.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, like you said, I think one of the other elements that you're certainly going to bring to the table is, the CFO, the controller that's going through this, they have the vision of what they currently do, Whereas, someone with your experience and background can say, here's what's possible. Here's what you may not have considered that we can do to help streamline things or add additional quality or efficiencies to the process and to the data, that sort of thing. So,
right. Yeah, that kind of leads me into couple of things I've seen over the years is clients that are trying to recreate their current system in a new system. And that's fine to a point, but I often ask the question back, if you're trying to match what you currently have or replicate it exactly, why are you leaving your current system? So you really have to think about, what can the new system do? And of course, that falls on both the prospect and the consulting firm, is that as a consultant, we need to make sure what's available, what processes are new to maybe what you don't already have. And, as a client or a prospect, you need to also know that, or ask the questions about, what can this new system do for us? Will it cover the have-to-haves that we need in a system? Maybe you're unique in how you do things, or your industry is unique. Make sure and ask the questions. What will the system do for us? Will it do these have-to-haves? And so, probably the biggest thing that a client can fail to ask is, what am I not taking advantage of in the new system? Are there things that will speed up our close, or make our reporting better, give us more visibility into data in real time? So these are all things that, if you don't ask all the questions, you're not taking advantage of everything that your new system can do. Maybe a second thing I see is that, kind of leans on the first example I gave of not planning for the growth or future efficiencies. If we're only replacing the current system to handle what you have now, we may be short-sighted if we hit a growth spurt or we know we're going to grow. We have to be able to handle more entities, more locations, more lines of business. So if we don't plan for that, then we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot and aren't going to be ready. Yes, we have a nice, shiny new system, but will it do everything that we need it to do? And kind of a tag on to that is, maybe we're not including all the players in the process. I've seen it multiple times where, we get into the planning process, the client has signed the deal and they're working on, we're kicking off, and then all of a sudden, oh, we have this other department that needs to have some input into it. So we're kind of backtracking on have we hit all the check boxes that they have to have. And so that can slow an implementation down and, can handicap the whole process if we have to, revisit some of those have to have.
Yeah, certainly, obviously, once you've made the decision to kind of move forward with your implementation, you've, hopefully considered all those growth scenarios. But yeah, absolutely, you got to make sure that if we're trying to sync data with a CRM package, making sure that you're working with, your customer service, your sales group, and making sure that you understand, what potential changes are they going to make to the CRM package, or what do they want to incorporate, not necessarily simply what you're talking about. And you touched on too, the idea of, once you're finished, and then if you failed to take advantage of all the opportunities that the new system provides, I've absolutely seen that. Once you kind of press go, once you go live, most of the team is really in that, nose to the grindstone type mode, and they're just, doing their daily work again. And if there's some feature or functionality that's available that has not been implemented, a lot of times we'll set up, certainly here's a phase 2, phase 3, so on and so forth. But if there's not, if there's a feature or functionality hasn't really been implemented or trained on to say, here's how you can use it, here's what it can do for you, there's a really good chance you'll never wind up using it. And that's certainly a big missed opportunity in some of these projects.
All right. Well, Jeff, thank you. This has been a great conversation, and hopefully this is helpful to those who are planning implementation or ERP selection process. And again, hope this is helpful information for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, certainly. Hopefully they can kind of pull from all of our years of experience.